Hey guys, it's Zach back once again to talk about one of the hottest animes of the 2018 season, SAO Alicization. Like I said in the previous video, this is a new style for me, so I'll be changing up the format a little bit compared to last time. Now let's jump into the breakdown of the previous, this current episode. So we see that it's been 2 years since both Kirito and Eugene left the village to join the Swordcraft Academy, and that they've been in the academy just over a year now. We get introduced to Lena, or Sorla Lena, as her full name would be. We also find out Kirito is her page, and that Eugene is Gorla Groslas Blato's page. Kirito also gives us a little bit more insight on how the status screen really functions. First being their life, which is honestly pretty straightforward. High life, you're not gonna die. The object control authority, we saw that a little bit in the previous episode, is kind of like the melee skill. If it's a little too low, it hampers your ability to handle higher class weapons. With the system control authority is kind of the direct relationship with what they call the sacred arts. Same thing as the one before. Too low of a skill, you can only use kind of those simple skills like the light ability. A higher skill set, that's where you kind of get that huge healing that we saw in the last episode after they had taken damage from the goblins. For a little bit, we get some back and forth between Kirito and Eugene on that they only got to this point by working together, and that Eugene shouldn't worry that they'll separate if Kirito does happen to get his memories back. Then we also see that those two head back to a metal shop where we have a flashback to just after the monster tree is cut down, and the town elder is telling Kirito to take the tip of the tree to a friend that he has in the main city who is a metalsmith to have it crafted into a sword. And man, can I tell you, that is one really sick looking sword. And just the way Kirito just kind of swings it around in the store really shows his sword skills ability. And because of that, the smith had said once he had finished putting the final touch on the sword, he swears that the sword actually got heavier from before he actually had finished crafting it, which, it doesn't surprise us with how previously all this stuff worked before. Those type of things are kind of bound to happen in this type of programming. But it was really cool to see Kirito, swinging around the sword, because in a scene before we saw Kirito practicing with his senpai, and he's really struggling to use those wooden training swords, which makes sense. That's not what he's used to using. He's used to having his sword skills being truly used on a sword and not something that's practiced. So it's kind of hampering him, and he's being held back by it, which makes sense. Kirito goes off on their day to relax to kind of play around with this new sword. He's swinging around as normal. He stumbles into some trouble by getting the first seat Volo shirt dirty. Volo was just kind of hanging out, watching Kirito. He was really seeing what Kirito was kind of able to do with that new sword. Kirito was also trying to practice his 5-point hit, which he hasn't been able to do since he's gotten into Alicization. We do see him swinging it around, getting close to it, and then we see kind of the sword flickering, like he's just not quite there yet. Like there's something that he hasn't done yet to unlock that ability that he's previously had forever, but now all of a sudden it's gone. So as Kirito's practicing with his new sword, well, not really practicing as he likes to keep saying, he's just playing around. He stumbles trying to do his 5-point hit, trips, gets some dirt splashed up onto Volo's shirt. He's not too upset about it, but he uses this situation as he's kind of felt disrespected by Kirito. And the best way he thinks for punishing Kirito is by challenging him to a duel with real swords. Everyone tries to talk Kirito out of doing this, but unfortunately, we all know how Kirito is. He accepts the challenge with the terms because Volo did say, you know, this is how I always do it. I never do any type of disrespect challenges without using real swords and not by stopping short. Kirito's senpai really tries to talk to him out of it, saying this is dangerous, you know, you're going to get hurt. And Kirito says, you know, I will accept the terms that Volo says. And Volo just kind of gets this smirk, which lets me really believe that we're going to see some really good animation, which we've kind of gotten a little bit of teases here and there about. So it'll be really nice to see that full sword fight animations that we're all just so accustomed to and really enjoy from our SAO episodes. So that's a breakdown of the episode of what happened, and now I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts about what I thought about the episode. I think overall this was a really great tease in an episode for what we'll be seeing next week. It showed off some short sword fighting scenes that, you know, like I said just a moment ago, we all enjoy those, but this one just definitely didn't satisfy that need that I was hoping that, you know, I was really hoping that we were going to get more out of this episode for some sword fights, especially since it was you know, the episode leading into saying, hey, they've been in the Sword Academy, this is what's been going on, but unfortunately we didn't get much. I know a lot of people are kind of upset with the state of how the story is unfolding at the moment. I can understand that and respect that because it does feel a little bit slow, but for me, I feel like them taking their time right now is the best way to do it because, like with last season when Kirito got into Gun Gale Online, it definitely felt like it was rushed, that they really wanted to get back to Elheim, and that they didn't really want to spend too much time in GOG, which is understandable, but it definitely felt like the story with Death Gun and all that was just like, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's a bunch of new characters, and the story's over. Let's go back to our previous game that we really liked because it had flying. So them taking their time with these last two episodes is just kind of fill in the story, really give us time to meet these new characters and new support that Kirito's going to be having in his adventures in Alicization is really good. I also like the fact that everyone keeps bringing up that they're really looking forward to Kirito to show off this new hidden style of fighting, which is his old Arcadia fighting. It really makes me believe that we're going to be seeing some dual wielding again, which is, I think, is going to be really fun because no one in Alicization has ever seen something like that. So it'll be really new to all of them, and I think it's going to be kind of a challenge for them to understand what he's really doing. Overall, I think I'm going to give this episode about a 7.5. Just because it was really nice tease with the animations. It was nice having all these not filler characters, but all these new characters to get kind of introductions. I don't think all the characters got introduced the best that it could. So I would like to see a little bit more backstory on the characters, maybe in the next episode or in some of the coming episodes, just so we can really get to know them. I don't want them to just kind of be cannon slaughter of their, you know, in Kirito's way, or they're just going to be the ones that sacrifice themselves for him. So guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, this is new. You guys probably see me kind of looking down a little bit, and I apologize for that. I'm just kind of getting used to using a script, just so I don't feel like I'm stumbling over my words as much. Probably still did. The headphones here, is just so I have that mic so you guys can really hear me a little bit crisp. I did notice that the audio was a little bit off last time, and I apologize for that. So I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you thought about the episode, what you're looking forward to seeing. Also, tell me how I did. Constructive criticism will definitely be nice. It just helps me build as a creator. It also helps build this channel up. So if you guys liked it, didn't like it, you know which button to hit. If you're new and you enjoyed what you've seen, or if you kind of see the potential I could have with these episodes, why don't you give that sub button some attention? And I will see you guys next time for Swordsman's Pride.